Welcome to the Law of Attraction Tribe podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Keith. If you're looking to manifest a life you don't need a vacation from, then you came to the right place. I quit my 9-to-5 job to stay home with my kids while building a thriving business. Now, as a best-selling author, app creator, and 3-times podcaster, I am here to teach you how to do the same. If you want to join my inner tribe, head over to the Manifest It Now app. And now let's dive in to the podcast where I'm going to give you my best manifestation hacks and tips so that you can manifest a life full of abundance, freedom, and fulfillment. Hello, and welcome back to the Law of Attraction Tribe podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Keith, and today we are going to talk about the myth that is perpetually going around with regards to having an online business, and it is driving me crazy. It's literally been the most stressful factor in my business thus far. And once I got going with my business, I realized that this whole thing was bullshit. So we're going to talk about that and talk about the 3 things that actually drive my business and have since the beginning. Like what has actually moved my business, gotten me new traffic, and multiple sources of passive income to the point where I was able to quit my job and never look back. So this is very, very different from the things that a lot of coaches are talking about in the online space. So it might, be a little bit surprising and it might piss some people off, but I am just here to be honest with you guys and transparent because it just clicked with me like a month ago that the mindset and manifestation and your energy is the biggest component, but why not share the tangible things and the action items that I have taken and all of the things that I figured out in the last 7 years that if I would have known would have saved me a ton of time? Like, why wouldn't I share that? And I kind of realized I was, gatekeeping that without even realizing, but now that I've been putting more of it out there, a lot of you are really interested because I think there's so many people that are just fed up with the 9-to-5 grind. And I get it. I was there. I was to the point where I had panic attacks every day. I had mom guilt every day. And it wasn't even like I wanted to be rich and wealthy and live in a mansion and drive like an expensive car or anything like that. I just wanted to be home with my kids. That was it. I just wanted to be home with them, but I knew that we couldn't afford it. And I also knew that if I was home with them, like if we were somehow able to afford it, like my husband worked 24/7 or something to make it happen, we would probably be miserable because we wouldn't have any extra money to do anything. We'd have to live very frugally. And we wouldn't be able to spend any time together because he'd be working all the time. And I am a big believer that there is an infinite number of ways that things can happen. And if you've taken the Millionaire's course, we get really deep into the science of manifestation. And that through the double slit experiment, they determined, the whole world of quantum physics, which is that everything is a wave of potential. And what you focus on, what you think about, what you believe that you're worth and can manifest in your life is what collapses the wave into that reality. So knowing that, I knew, okay, just because I have always been taught that, you have to work, you have to have a full-time job, and the harder you work, the more money you make. And that if you were to be a stay-at-home mom, it would be really hard and you would have to live, very frugally, buying only things from the dollar store, not ever able to go on vacations. So that was kind of the thought process based on our conditioning and kind of how we're taught growing up, right? But by that point, I was making six figures in my job. I had a company car. They gave me a gas card for it. They paid for the insurance. I had amazing benefits. I had a great 401k. I won money and bonuses and gift cards all the time. And I had gotten really accustomed to that lifestyle. And I didn't want to be stuck in a situation where I had to go to the grocery store and constantly count every item in my cart to decide if I had to put anything back. Like, I want my children to have abundance in the sense that they always have more than enough of just basic needs. They always have enough food. They always can go to birthday parties and buy their friend a gift. They always have memories of us going on vacation. Like, those are the types of things that I wanted, for my kids. So that was the dilemma of where I was at, right? And then I get into the world of online business, and I'll go further into that story another time because that's a whole story in and of itself. It's actually very interesting. But anyhow, I get into the world of online business, and what has everyone been pushing literally nonstop for the last 7 years? Social media. Instagram. You got to post on Instagram. Algorithm. The algorithm changed. How to beat the algorithm. How many number of hashtags? How many posts per day? What times of day do you post? How many videos do you post? How many stories do you post? And I don't know about you, but it is so exhausting. And I used to love scrolling on Instagram. That is literally why I started Law of Attraction Tribe, because I loved the Law of Attraction and I loved Instagram. So I started a Law of Attraction Instagram page. Like, that's literally how I started on this journey. And now I can't stand it. I get on Instagram and my whole body gets that same feeling of dread that I had when I was in the corporate 9-to-5 job. Like, it doesn't light me up. And I think it doesn't light me up because instead of just enjoying it and like looking at the positive content I want to look at, it's all about, in the back of my mind, number of hashtags and how does this sound, and oh, that person, look at what they're doing. And it just takes the fun out of it. And over the last year or so, I've become very frustrated, especially with Instagram. And I think mainly because I switched over to TikTok, and I just instantly took off, and you could grow there. And there's just, I don't know, I just like it so much better. So it really made me kind of look at Instagram and realize I haven't grown at all. I haven't gotten any traffic from it. It's really not doing anything for my business. Why am I even still wasting my time? And not even my time, because it's not like I spend a lot of time on there, but why am I wasting my energy when every time I go on there, I have that feeling of like, ugh, I got to do this. And so I've really started to shift away from that and think, okay, what do I like? Well, I like doing Instagram stories, not like a gazillion, like, they tell you to do, but I do like getting on there and sharing, my life, because I like seeing that in what other people are sharing. And I've got my crew on Instagram. Like, you guys know who you are. We message each other all the time. And I like that part of it. I like being able to talk to you guys in more of like an intimate setting, like messaging one another and really getting to know one another. I don't like the posting though, and like the analytics and the algorithm stuff. So anyhow, I know I'm like rambling on about social media. If you can't tell, it's like really getting on my nerves. But through this whole thing, when I made that switch to TikTok, I realized that when I actually looked at the analytics, and you guys, if you know me, I do not like analytics. I am a right brain, like creative, imaginative, big idea person. I can't stand diving into the analytics and looking at all that stuff. So I just don't. And I really never have. And I don't know, maybe it would have helped my business more if I did, but I kind of feel like it's just a waste of time. But anyhow, I forced myself to really look at the whole business. And I was freaking shocked. And I think deep down I knew. But I just kept avoiding it because there's all of this chatter about how social media is the end all be all. And you have to be on social media. You have to post, you have to have a presence. And that is not the case, you guys. That is not the case. Now, if you're like an influencer, okay, like I follow some people who are like, I guess they would be considered fashion influencers, and their whole income is based on like recommending outfits and then getting commissions when they post those outfits and those links. So from that standpoint, then yeah, I get it. Like you have to have social media and you have to be really good at it. But for the vast majority of online businesses, coaches, things like that, I see, because I've seen this with my clients, we stress out so much about social media. We're always wondering about social media. We're spending the vast majority of our time and our planning and our energy focusing on social media, and it moves the bar very, very, very little. So growing, social media growth does not equal income growth. Let me say that again. This is so important. Social media growth does not equal income growth. Now, I know I'm probably going to get hate for this. And like, yeah, I'm sure it does for some people. But you know as well as I do, the vast majority of people are really struggling right now, especially with Instagram. The algorithm sucks. They want people to pay for ads, so they're not showing your stuff to your audience. And it's just hard. And so if that was the only thing available, then I'd be like, yeah, hell yeah, go for it. We'll figure this out. But what I've found in my business is there's other things available that are not social media that are way more enjoyable, in my opinion. They take a fraction of the time and they are so much more fun. Okay, so let's go through them all. And I'm going to save my favorite for last, so stick around for that one. But I want to start with Pinterest because Pinterest, I love. I have been on Pinterest since it started and I freaking love it. Like I do my vision boards on there. I get so much inspiration from there. And I like the way it's set up. And so I have found that when I put energy and time into it, and not even time, okay, let me rephrase this. When I get intentional with Pinterest and I spend a good half an hour on it a month, it moves my business, I would say 20 times more than Instagram does. So here's what I do. Number one, I use AI to take everything that I post on TikTok and put it on Pinterest. And again, Meta freaking sucks. So I try to have this done with Instagram and Facebook and they make it so difficult. Pinterest, nope. Everything I post on TikTok goes right on Pinterest. So why is that important? Well, people on Pinterest are going to see these short TikToks, get a feel for who I am, recognize my face, like brand awareness. And anyone who's interested in manifesting might think, oh, I'm going to go follow her on TikTok or like check out her website or whatever. It also posts things to Pinterest idea pins, which is basically the same thing as Instagram stories. And then the other thing is I have tested out ads on every platform, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, the Apple Ad Store, Google, and then Pinterest. And Pinterest by far is the best. It is significantly cheaper and the results are way better. So I could spend like 30 to 40 cents per customer that I get on Pinterest, where Facebook, Instagram are anywhere from, I would say, $1.50, $2 to like $5 to $8. Like it's significantly more. And then Apple Ad Store, like forget it. So anyhow, like I've continuously been running ads on Pinterest to drive traffic. And it has increased not just people that are in my app, but it has increased my email list by thousands and thousands. And I literally don't have to do anything because you set up the ad and you just let it go. And then they make recommendations and you can tweak it as you go, but that's pretty much it. About once a month, I might, if I feel like it, get on Tailwind and like schedule out some pins and stuff. But For the most part, the ads do the work for me. And like I said, it's like 30 to 40 cents per customer. And so I actually teach my entire Pinterest strategy, the ads, everything inside Digital CEO. That's a bonus and it's well worth it because, like I said, you could do that, which literally you set it up once, let it run, maybe spend 30 minutes a month on Pinterest, and it is going to do way more for you than TikTok, than Instagram, than Facebook, than any social media. So that's number one. Number two is this very thing we're doing right now, podcasting. Podcasting is my favorite part of the business. I know I've talked about this before, but I absolutely enjoy it. I enjoy it. And that's so weird to me because growing up, I was so quiet. And in real life, like I am not a person of many words. Like if I'm in a conversation one-on-one, maybe, but like I am not very outgoing and very like super talkative. I'm kind of like a person of few words, but I don't know what it is. The podcast, I just feel like I could talk forever and I really, really enjoy it. And I get so much traffic from the podcast. So people that are actually signing up for courses or coaching, damn near every person is like, hey, I've been listening to your podcast for a year, or hey, I just found your podcast and I've binged every episode and now I want more. What do you offer? Are you doing coaching? I get messages like that every single day. I don't get that. I've never gotten that from social media. All right. So podcasting, if you've ever worked with me, I'm going to convince you to start a podcast because it's free. It's free marketing. Like people pay a shit ton of money for that level of engagement and marketing, and you could do it for free. Like it's the best marketing tool and it's free, which is so crazy. So we've got Pinterest so far. We've got podcasting. And then number three, my favorite source is my app. And this really surprised me because, when I started the app, of course, you look at it as it's a product. What I didn't realize is that not only is it a product and it's a consistent stream of like passive income that I don't really have to think about, it brings in new traffic, people that wouldn't have otherwise found me on the podcast or Pinterest or social media, find me through the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. And that's the thing with all of these things so far, right? With Pinterest, it is a search engine. Google, obviously a search engine. And Apple, they do a very good job with both podcasts and with apps of making it searchable. And these are all things that we talk about in Digital CEO because when you create your app, you have the ability to put in keywords and all sorts of things. And if someone is on the App Store and they're searching for manifesting apps or law of attraction apps, they find me through that. So it has brought in like a consistent flow of people. So those three sources are pretty much it. And they all take the least amount of time. So I told you like 30 minutes a month I'll spend on Pinterest. Podcasting, I would say anywhere from, for this podcast, so I've got three, but for this specific one, I spend maybe 45 minutes a week because right now I'm doing one episode a week. It's usually around 20 minutes. It takes me like 5 minutes to edit and another like 5 or 10 to upload it, and then I'm done. So we're talking under an hour for Pinterest, under an hour for the podcast, and then the app. You want to know how much time I spend on the app? I would say it's like an hour a month because each month I put in new content. So I will sit down and spend some time creating that, which usually goes really quickly because I wait to create it until I'm in that state of creative flow. So it's like easy. And that's pretty much it. Like once in a while, an email might come through and someone needs help logging in or something like that. But for the most part, it truly is passive in the sense that I put the work in, I set it up, and now it's like there. All the content is there and people are continuously buying. So if you are at that stage where you're super frustrated with social media and you're like, why am I not growing? And you think you suck because you're not growing, and you're like, I can never have a business because I have no followers. All of it is a lie. It's all a lie. And I highly recommend just stop listening to people that are telling you that, because all it did for me was create a lot of stress and a lot of unnecessary work, a lot of time and energy that I really didn't need to spend on there. And there are better ways that are easier. I think they're more fun and enjoyable, and they take way less time. So those are my recommendations. If you shifted that focus from social media to Pinterest, a podcast, and or an app, you will be sitting pretty. Like, you will be just fine. You could not even have a social media account, or you could be sitting at 100 followers or 50 followers and still have a successful business where you could quit your day job. That is how strongly I feel about these three platforms. And all three of them, well, podcasting, that's kind of another story, but Pinterest and the app, I have the digital CEO course. In 6 weeks, I walk you through everything from coming up with your app idea to creating content to actually creating the app, submitting it to Apple and Google. So at the end of the 6 weeks, you have a live app in the App Store that is earning recurring monthly passive income. And then, like I said, the bonus is Pinterest, where I go through my entire strategy for that, because it's just worked so well with me. And then I also go through some of the other passive income streams that I still use today that have really been great and easy, and have helped me build up this business. So if you guys are interested, this is the last week to get the pre-sale price on Digital CEO. We are officially launching it July 1st. So on July 1st, the price is doubling. So if you want to get in for 50% off, now is the time. Like, do not wait. Do not put it off. I really don't think it's ever going to be this price again, because this is a pre-sale price and it's launching. So last week, if it's a hell yes, then just go sign up. You can go to thelawofattractiontribe.com/digital CEO. When you go to that page, the free masterclass is on that page. If you're unsure or you want more details, you can still go to that page. I will also link just the free masterclass and the planner on finding your purpose, because I've had so many of you reach out and you're like, an app sounds cool, but I don't even know what I would do my app on. I created a whole journal on how to figure that out. And it's the whole entire process that I went through, all of the questions that I asked myself to figure out what I wanted to do, what my purpose was. And so once you have that, that's really all you need. And I'm going to show you how to monetize it, how to do it in a way where you don't have to spend 40, 50 hours a week on your business. You make it, and then you sit back and you have consistent recurring income. And yes, there's some maintenance. Like I said, you're going to spend some time each month on maintenance, on Pinterest, on all those kinds of things. But for the most part, you can just enjoy life. We went to Disney last week. This week, we've done the pool every day, and went out and celebrated for my mom's birthday. Next week, we're going to Naples. The week after that, we're probably going to do Busch Gardens and Tampa stuff. This is the lifestyle that you have when you put in the work and you build passive income streams. So this is what I'm teaching you in these 6 weeks. It's how I run my business. It's basically behind the scenes. Nothing is being gatekeeped anymore. Everything is in there, putting it all out on the table for you guys, because I know there's going to be people that are ready to quit their job, or maybe you already did quit your job. Maybe you already have your business and it's stagnant and you're not growing because you're spending all this damn time on social media, and you're like, why am I not getting more customers? Why am I not getting more traffic? So whichever is the case, this will be really helpful. And I do believe that now is the time to get in and get an app, because just like podcasting and YouTube and social media all were, really great to get in on in the beginning, and then they kind of became saturated. I feel like that's how it is with apps. Like, there's not that many business owners that have their own personalized branded app, and it really helps you stand out in a saturated market. And it's a great income stream. Like, that alone is providing me so much security, knowing that it's just been recurring and growing ever since it started. And I don't ever have to think about going back to another crappy day job. So if that's where you're at, get in this week so you get the 50% off. I will link it in the show notes, but once again, you can just go to thelawofattractiontribe.com/digital CEO. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. You can DM me on Instagram. I do still check DMs at Law of Attraction Tribe. And thanks so much for tuning in. I will see you back here next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys want more in between these podcast episodes, you can subscribe to my Apple podcast, Manifested It. You can find that in Apple Podcasts, and it has all of my bonus interviews, guided visualizations, subliminals, meditations, all that good stuff. Or you can download the Manifest It Now app, where I put everything, all of my interviews, tools, everything I've used to manifest a life I don't need a vacation from. You can find that wherever you get your apps, in Google Play or the Apple App Store. And you can join the Inner Tribe Manifesting community, which is inside the app as well, if you want to up level with a group of women who are there to support you, cheer you on, give you guidance, and up level your vibe. And if you love this episode, the best thing you can do to support the podcast is share it. Share it with a friend, share it on your Instagram. Make sure to tag me at Law of Attraction Tribe so I can share it back on my story as well. I love connecting with you guys and putting a face to all the listeners out there. So come connect with me over on Instagram and let's start a conversation. Have a great week, and I'll see you back here next time.